ever rented furniture for like a big move? Or maybe had to scramble for a replacement fridge when yours suddenly died?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we've all been there.
Definitely.
So today, we're going behind the scenes of those experiences. We're going to explore the world of rental service representatives. Sounds simple, right?
Right.
But we've got excerpts from RoleCatcher's career guide and some stuff from their job board, interview prep sections, all that. It's way more complex than it might seem at first glance.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like one of those jobs we interact with all the time, but we never really, stop and think about what goes into it. And looking at this, it's fascinating to see how much more it is than just, handing over some keys and taking a payment.
So I'm picturing in my head someone walks into like a rental place. What's the day-to-day really look like for the person, on the other side of the counter?
Well, RoleCatcher kind of paints this picture that's a lot more hands-on than you might expect. So they're not just taking orders, they're doing actual like needs assessments with customers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so imagine someone's, they're moving into a new apartment, they need to furnish the whole thing. The rental rep isn't just like, grabbing the first sofa they see. They're actually figuring out, what does this customer actually need? How long are they going to need it for? They're navigating like different rental terms. It's about making sure that the customer is really set up for success.
That's a good point because, renting a bed for a week when you've got visitors is way different than like needing a dining set for a year because you're renting out, your place furnished or whatever.
Exactly.
So it's like part customer service, part logistics.
Absolutely. And then on top of all that, you've got the legal side. RoleCatcher really emphasizes how important it is to, manage contracts and all that.
Well, right, of course.
You think about it, late fees, damage waivers, like all those rental agreements we just kind of quickly skim and sign.
Oh, yeah.
These are the folks on the front lines, making sure that everything is, legit and that the customer understands what they're getting into.
I can already imagine myself accidentally, like, spilling red wine on the rug and then frantically digging through my, email for the damage waiver clause. Not that that's ever happened to me or anything.
Yeah.
But it makes you realize, like, that clear communication in that role is so key.
Oh, absolutely crucial. And it's not all just, dealing with customers face to face. There's another layer to this that RoleCatcher talks about, inventory management.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So picture this. It's like peak moving season. Everyone and their dog needs a refrigerator. And suddenly, the showroom floor is empty.
Yeah.
So these reps are the ones who have to like juggle all those demands. They're managing stock levels. They probably have Tetris-like skills trying to fit everything into the warehouse.
That's hilarious. Now that you mention it, yeah, there are definitely times when I've been to a rental place and it feels less like a storefront and more like a very well-organized, storage facility.
Exactly.
But I'm curious. The guide also mentions that this job is actually on the rise. So why is that? Why is this a growing field?
Well, it seems to be tied to like our changing consumption habits.
Interesting.
We're in this era of flexibility, right? So, why buy a huge sectional sofa if you're probably going to move in a year?
That's a good point.
And RoleCatcher suggests that this shift towards renting over buying, especially for things people might not need long term, is actually driving job growth in this sector. It's not that the industry is like dying or anything. It's more like it's evolving alongside like how we live and how we work.
Yeah, I don't think my grandparents would even recognize how we deal with furniture these days.
Probably not.
But, we have to address the elephant in the room, right? Dealing with, let's say, less than thrilled customers who are returning, a piece of furniture that might be damaged or an appliance that, like, stopped working. Yeah, that's going to be a big part of the job, right?
It's definitely part of the reality. And to their credit, RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from that in their pros and cons section.
It's got to be tough. I mean, dealing with, like, difficult customers in any job is hard enough. But
well, tell me about it.
when it's like, did they remember to clean the grill? Is that a crack in the coffee table? Or is that just like a weird wood grain?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And you're often dealing with people on a, maybe not their best day. Like they're stressed about a move or something broke. They're frustrated.
Right.
And maybe they're even trying to, get away with something.
Oh, yeah.
So you need that balance, right? Empathy, but also you have to be firm. Honestly, that's a good skill in any job, let's be real.
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds like, it takes a certain kind of person to not just do this job, but to really thrive in it. Like you got to be organized, a good communicator, able to stay calm when things get a little hairy.
Absolutely. But the cool thing is, for those who are kind of built like that, RoleCatcher suggests it can be a pretty rewarding career.
Oh, okay.
Like, a lot of people actually, they like the flexibility that comes with a rental service environment. Like when you work, which, these days, work-life balance, that's huge.
For sure. For sure. It's not your typical 9 to 5, that's for sure. Which makes sense, given what we've been talking about with the nature of rentals and, when customers need them.
Exactly. And then there's the money. I mean, RoleCatcher highlights that a lot of these rental service representative jobs, they actually offer commission on top of your regular salary.
Oh, interesting. So, that grumpy customer who's returning the dented appliance, that's a chance to turn a tough situation into a bigger paycheck.
It's true.
That's kind of cool.
It's like those people skills, right? Your communication, your ability to solve a problem, it's all directly tied to your income.
It's like they say, it's all about incentives.
Right, but it's not just about, staying in that same role forever. RoleCatcher has this whole outline for, how your career can actually progress if you get into this field. I think that's something people always want to know. Is there a ladder to climb?
Totally. So you start out renting toasters and stuff, but can you work your way up to manager?
Exactly.
I'm envisioning a corner office with a lifetime supply of those packing peanuts.
Now you're talking. So RoleCatcher lays it out like this. You start as a trainee, then you become a rental service representative, then a senior representative, and then boom, manager. And they have all these quotes from real people at each stage, so you get a feel for what it's actually like.
Oh, that's awesome. What are some of the insights from those quotes? What's the actual experience?
Well, this one quote stuck out to me from a trainee. They were saying how, they're not just getting coffee or whatever. They're actually getting to inspect equipment, learn all the details of the contracts, and get comfortable, actually talking to customers.
That's cool. You're thrown right into the mix.
Yeah, it's not like you're stuck in the back, sorting furniture parts or whatever. You're out there learning the whole business.
Love that. So what about once you reach that manager level? What's that like in this field specifically?
They had a really good quote from a rental service manager who's been doing it a while. And they emphasized how it's not just about hitting your sales targets or whatever. It's about leading a team, being a mentor to new hires, making sure the whole operation is running smoothly from the warehouse to the customer interactions.
Wow, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and they even talked about how rewarding it is to actually help people during what might be kind of a stressful time for them, after a fire or during a big move, things like that.
That's a side of it I hadn't really considered, honestly. The human impact,
Yeah.
It's not just about the transaction. It's about helping people through these moments.
Totally. And for anyone listening who's genuinely intrigued by this whole career path, the cool thing is RoleCatcher doesn't just give you information and then leave you hanging.
Okay.
They actually have resources to help you land one of these jobs.
Oh, nice. So it's hey, we've told you all about it. Now let's get you hired.
Exactly. It's really cool, actually. They have a whole jobs and interviews section on their website. They connect the dots for you, which I think is huge when you're job searching.
So what's in those sections? What kind of cool features are we talking about here? Does it, write your resume for you?
Not quite that advanced, though that would be amazing, right? But they do have a really sleek job board. You can search specifically for rental service representative openings. So, instead of just scrolling endlessly on those generic job sites, this is tailored to your new career interests.
Smart.
But what I thought was really impressive was this AI-powered tool they have that analyzes your resume and CV.
Hold on. AI that judges resumes. Is it going to, critique my font choices? Asking for a friend who might be a little attached to Comic Sans.
Don't worry, your friend is safe. It's a lot more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
It actually looks at your skills, your experience, and compares it to the specific requirements of the jobs you're interested in.
So instead of sending out the same generic resume to every rental place in town,
right,
I can actually make it, highlight the stuff that matters most for each specific job.
Precisely. It's all about being strategic, and that kind of targeted approach, it can really increase your chances of actually getting noticed.
It's level up your job hunt. No more just hoping for the best.
Totally.
Oh.
And it doesn't stop there. They don't just leave you hanging once you got the interview, right? This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Okay, so what happens then?
So get this. They have this huge GE database of interview questions. Over 120,000.
120,000.
No, right? Across all kinds of fields, but they have specific ones just for, rental service representative role.
Okay, so that's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Is that going to make me more or less nervous for my interview?
No, it's good. It's not about like memorizing the answers or anything. It's about, getting familiar with the types of things they might ask so you can kind of practice how you'd respond.
Makes sense.
And they even have this AI thing. It's like a mock interview. You record yourself answering the practice questions.
Oh, wow.
And then it gives you feedback. Like, on your delivery, were you clear? Did you actually answer what they asked? All that.
So it's like having a robot career coach. That's kind of cool.
Right. Like, when you get nervous and you start, like, rambling or you say, too much.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This can help with all that. It can make a huge difference, I bet, going into the real thing, feeling more confident.
Yeah, definitely. It's wild how much tech is a part of, like, even just getting a job these days.
Totally. But in this case, I think it's really cool how RoleCatcher's using it,
How so?
It's like everyone should have access to this kind of information and these tools to help them. Like, it shouldn't be some big secret how to have a good resume or whatever.
It's about leveling the playing field.
Yeah.
I like that. And I think what's really neat about this whole deep dive we've done on, rental service reps is it shows there are so many career paths out there that we might not even think about.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We get so caught up in, like, the dream jobs, the ones with the fancy titles. But sometimes it's the ones that seem, I don't know, maybe a little more under the radar where you find something truly rewarding.
Absolutely. And honestly, those are often the jobs that, like, keep everything running smoothly. We don't always stop and appreciate that.
It's true. So shout out to all the rental service representatives out there. You guys are like the behind-the-scenes heroes of so many moves, so many replaced appliances, all of it.
Totally. They're dealing with the contracts, the customers, probably, like, mastering the art of assembling furniture super fast.
I bet. So, hey, if you're listening to this and, maybe feeling a little stuck or like you need a change, this could be it. Maybe this is your sign. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Maybe your dream job is in a warehouse full of possibilities, helping people find what they need, even if they don't know it yet.
Exactly. And with tools like RoleCatcher, it's so much easier now to, explore different career options and get yourself out there.
Love it. So next time you're renting that moving van or whatever it is, take a minute to, think about the folks who make it all happen. They might just inspire your next big move career-wise.
Here.
Until next time, everybody, happy renting.